Hi, I'm Larissa, a mental health therapist who blends psychology and faith with practical tools to help women and families step out of overthinking and survival mode. You'll learn simple ways to feel calm, steady, and fully present because you were meant to prosper in your well being. Today, we're talking about when overwhelm, fear, and big emotions take over. Welcome to the Minds Made Steady podcast, a prosper counseling podcast on faith, feelings, and practical psychology. Today, we're continuing our short series through Prosper and Motherhood, and we are looking at chapters 4 through 6. This section is for the mom who feels like she is carrying more than she knows how to name. She's more than tired, maybe more than busy, maybe you're feeling more than stressed, or more than overwhelmed. Sometimes motherhood stretches our capacity in ways we did not expect. There are needs all around us, there are decisions to make, and there are appointments, meals, laundry, emotions, parenting, spiritual formation, relationships, and our own inner world running in the background. Fear can join in on this conversation when we get overwhelmed. Our minds can start to spiral, and we start having this internal dialogue that asks questions like, what if I'm not doing enough? What if something goes wrong? What if I can't handle this? What if I fail my child? Fear often feels like protection, but if fear becomes the loudest voice, it can push us into spiraling, controlling, shutting down, or snapping, knowing that we're not showing up as the version of ourselves we want to be. And this is where chapter 6 becomes so important because resilience does not mean that you never struggle. Resilience means you can notice what is hard, tell the truth about it, and find the next faithful step. That is a much kinder definition. You are not weak because this season feels heavy. You are building strength in your season. And that's where resilience grows. And for the Christian mom, resilience is not just self-effort or pushing through. It is learning to receive God's strength while also using tools and support, whether that's counseling, coaching, support from a mentor, or other resources like books. For example, Prosper and Motherhood was written for moms looking for extra support, and you can find it on Amazon. One story from chapter 6 includes the medical journey with my son Felix's hemangioma and the way that he provided healing through doctors, medicine, treatment, timing, all in the unknown. We did experience fear, we experienced uncertainty, but we also continued to have faith. And faith meant sometimes just having small prayers to get us through each hour, to get us through each next doctor appointment, doing our best to just hold everything together till we got through the next day. One tip from the book is using the 3-step resilience process. The first step is to name what is hard without blame. You're going to identify the hard thing that you're going through, whether it's fear, grief, loss, feeling worried or anxious. And the second step is that you're going to identify what is not working. What is the way of coping, the way of self-protecting that you are currently doing that you know isn't helping? And the third step is to find another solution, to look for the next wise step. Try looking at your situation from a different angle or a different perspective. We call this zooming out because when we're overwhelmed and we're spiraling, we can get tunnel vision where you're focused only on that one thorn in your side. But when we allow ourselves to zoom out, we can often find ways to move forward when we allow room for flexibility versus focused in on that one pebble, that one thorn. This is simple, but it's also powerful, and it can be easier said than done. I remember when our son was going through all of this, feeling in survival mode, and the way that we did cope was just focusing on the next small step in front of us. And if that's where you're at, that's okay too. Instead of saying things to yourself that can be critical or putting yourself down or creating guilt and shame, those narratives sound like, I should be handling this better. Try asking what is hard and what is not working, and then what's the next wise step for this moment. Not tomorrow or not next week, but right now in this current moment, in these next 10 minutes. One script, one prosperous mama affirmation you can use is, I give myself permission to feel what is hard. I give myself permission to have compassion for myself in this moment, and I can change the plan when needed. You can say those things over yourselves through hard moments in the day to remind yourself to have a little bit more loving kindness, to try a little bit more gentle and softer approach with yourself. When you do that and you're met with loving kindness and compassion, it allows you to consider other perspectives and other options in front of you. Thanks for being here. Remember, God's design has your wellness in mind, and you can prosper in your good mental health journey. See you next time. To go deeper, purchase Prosper in Motherhood on Amazon and read chapters 4 through 6 this week. And if your overwhelm feels like more than a book can hold, I'd be honored to support you. And you're welcome to book a free consultation at www.prospercounsel.com. The information shared on this podcast is for educational purposes only. It's given with the understanding that neither the host of the show, its guests, publishers, or producers are giving legal, financial, professional, or clinical advice. Consult with your own licensed professional before implementing.